Here we have Susanna from Good Morning Britain, and she's about to ask our Defence Secretary, John Healey, if we should all consider building bomb shelters in our gardens. And at that question, it was all he could do to keep a straight face.
We have this security strategy, and we understand now that the UK is at risk of direct threat, direct missile attack, in fact, on our own soil. I mean, extremely alarming warnings. Is it time for us all to get a bomb shelter, Defence Secretary?
We're not expecting, nor should we expect, any sort of direct attack or invasion today or tomorrow, but we are under constant attack, sabotage and threats to our undersea cables and the networks we depend on, cyber attacks that are serious and daily and driven by hostile states. And our strategic defence review 3 weeks ago, just like the security strategy you referred to yesterday, tells us that we do need to take our homeland defences more seriously. And part of what you'll see discussed at NATO here in The Hague this afternoon by the leaders of the 32 nations is a recognition that border security, energy security, cyber security are all part of that bigger national security that we as NATO nations need to step up, and we will.
Yeah,
and it's part of
with respect, you don't buy fighter jets with the ability to carry nuclear bombs because you're addressing a cyber threat, do you?
No, of course not. And this is additional alongside the core defence commitments that the NATO leaders will also make this afternoon to a new benchmark for defence spending, but also new capabilities. And what Keir Starmer is announcing today is Britain stepping up its contribution to that NATO deterrence, playing a part in the established nuclear NATO mission, but also reinforcing our British industrial base, because 20,000 jobs are supported by this programme. Over 100 companies in the wider supply chain across the UK are connected to this programme. So this is a good day for NATO, it's a good day for Britain's industry, and it's a bad day for Putin.
And of course, the reason why our Defence Secretary, John Healey, is saying these things is because today NATO have decided that they're going to recalculate the percentages that all of the countries within NATO will be paying. So previously we had the right figure. It's a little bit like inflation in the UK. They tell us it's 3%, but it's not. It's much higher, and everyone knows that. But what they do, they change the basket of things that are included in order to get to the inflation figure. So they're fudging the figures. What NATO have decided to do is exactly the same thing, because they've included cyber security and some other things in there, like, and I try and keep a straight face here myself, border security. So all of these things there go towards the 4.1%. Of course, there's been no change in spending at all. Everyone is just keeping Donald Trump happy. And what a world we're living in at the moment, where we're just being lied to 24/7. And of course, talking about being lied to 24/7, who better than the Terminator herself, Beth Rigby, to come up with some real fear for people?
If you actually look at what the National Security Review says today, you might feel somewhat alarmed because, and I quote from it, for the first time in many years, we have to actively prepare for the possibility of the UK homeland coming under direct threat, potentially in a wartime scenario.
Well, we are facing daily challenges on the home front.
And that really does throw into sharp relief why the Prime Minister is going on and on and on about increasing defence spending.
We have to guard properly against those threats, and we will do so.
And just to put it into context about what he's saying about spending on defence, 5% of GDP by 2035. In today's terms, that would mean, according to the IFS, adding another 30 billion to the 75 billion the government are expected to be spending by 2027. You remember that's the 2.6 target. It is a lot of money, and it's got to come from somewhere.
Well, we need to drive through reform in the welfare system. It's not working for anyone.
He's here to talk about increasing defence spending back home. He's fighting a battle over welfare cuts. A third of his MPs saying that they are going to rebel against the welfare reforms. They don't like cuts to disability benefits, and they are not prepared to support the Prime Minister as it stands. This is real squeaky bum time for him.
It's not a confidence vote. It's a
vote.
Not. It's a vote
You
about
don't see
reform.
it like that.
It's about a vote about reform of our welfare system.
What happens next at NATO? Well, President Trump is coming into town.
I'm not happy with Israel. Not happy with Iran either.
And I don't think you could have missed his anger.
Basically, have two countries that have been fighting so long and so hard that they don't know what they're doing.
For clarity, there is no threat to our homeland at all. We're not going to be invaded, nor is there going to be a missile pop across the sky and hit anywhere in this country. With regard to cyber attacks, that's been happening since the start of the internet, and it's going to continue to happen until there's going to be a technological change in the future related to crypto, and that will put an end to all of this at some point in the future, and that's something that we'll face continually anyway. Outside of that, we've got the NATO spending going from 2.5 to 4.1 as if it's just a kind of a card trick, a magic trick. Everyone can see through all of this, and I'm sure Donald Trump can see through all of this, but perhaps he's just happy that he's got them to increase defence spending. I think that was his main goal. I think he knows even if they fudge the figures, it makes him look good anyway, and it's what he's always wanted for NATO to spend more, and so he gets what he wants, and everyone gets to brag about how they're looking after the homeland and all of that. But none of it's true. And Keir Starmer, for his part in all this, is laying bare his best political propaganda game. Scare the pants off people in order to fulfill a political end. And some people buy it and some people don't. Anyway, thanks very much for your time.